Well, class, now the next part of any case study response is the analysis. Now, for me, this was always the most difficult portion to do, because now this is the real meat of the paper, where you're trying to draw in facts, research that you've conducted, and then relate it all back to the issue that you identified at the outset. So how do we do this analysis? I'm going to suggest to you there's 3 steps that you could do. And this is within the structure of the analysis. Now let me just give a brief overview. So far, think about it. You've laid out what your issue is and you've given some facts. The next thing is you want to say, this is what my research has shown. Okay? And then you want to say, right, that the facts that I identify relate to that research in a certain way. So let me go through it and explain what I mean by that. Okay? Because then you can see we're having a progression from issue to facts to analysis to conclusion. Okay? First, the research. You got to do your research, that's obvious, but I would suggest to you got to print it out. That way you've got it and you can do your citations later on. Okay, so now you're sitting at your desk and you got all this research, all these different references that you wrote out. The next thing, what you want to do is you start your analysis. You have your introductory paragraph that says, now we're doing analysis, okay? Is you want to be able to state the findings of your research. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Let us say, let's keep going with this idea of the supply chain issue, okay? So you might, at the outset, say, research indicates that supply chain problems are common in this area, okay, period, right? Now, for example, right, and you might say, the inability to make washers was observed by XYZ company, and you give a citation. The inability to make good nuts was noticed by, in this company, the citation. Okay? The inability to put nuts and washers together effectively and efficiently was noted in this one, and you might give it in that, right? But the idea is that you lay out, this is what I found out, okay, from my research. And you do that, right now for our person, it might be 1 paragraph. As you read the references, what you're going to see is that it might go for 3 or 4 paragraphs, or they might break out and say, with regard to this aspect of the issue, here's our research. This aspect of the issue, here's our research. So now, you've stated what your research you found, paragraph 9. Now you're going to relate that research that you got to the facts that you did in the prior section. What do I mean by that? So you found out about nuts and bolts and washers, right? And now you might do in the next section, well, you know, XYZ company, the one that we're studying, okay, had a problem with washers and nuts, period. It's not unlike what was observed in this company up here, right, that you noted when you talked about your research. Okay? And as a matter of fact, it's very common in connection with what was observed in another company. So in other words, you're taking the facts that you've got and then relating them back to the research that you've conducted. I would strongly recommend that you do not try to mash the research together with the facts. In other words, take the time to say, I did research and here's what I found. Here's how it applies. Okay? And it's just a standard way that materials and information is presented to people. Okay? Now, how do you do this effectively? Here's my practice tip that I would give you. You make up a chart. Okay? And the chart says on one side, here's my research. And then on the other side, you put, and these are the facts that are similar to that research. Okay? Because that helps you write, think about it, it's going to help you write your fact portion, because you're going to sit there and say, okay, here's my research, there's my fact. And if you're not matching them up, you should be saying to yourself, why, I don't need that fact because I didn't use it. Or I'm missing something and I should find that fact, okay? The big thing is, okay, is keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple. You should be able to say, this is my research, this is what I discovered, and here's the fact. Research, fact. And then the paper starts to write itself, okay? And that's what I mean by when you're doing your analysis. So to review, you're going to find, I do my research. So now I got all these papers in front of me, right? Now you're going to make up your chart, research on one side, facts on the other. And whatever matches up, right, you then take this chart, which has got, you know, 2 vertical columns, turn it sideways, right, so that now there's 2 horizontal columns. The one on the top, that's your relevant research. You're going to tell me what that research is. And then the bottom part, are going to be the facts that you're going to relate. Okay, so it's a very easy way of doing it. It's the way that I was taught in law school to do it. Used it when I did my MBA. Okay, so 2 columns, research on the left, facts on the right. Put them all down so they relate to each other. Turn the page 90 degrees, and now you know the facts are on the research is now on the top. That's going to be the first paragraph or paragraphs of analysis, and then on the bottom are the facts that relate to that, so that that'll be the latter half of your analysis. Okay, so that's just a way of doing it. Okay, that is I found useful, and I hope it's useful for you. But as with anything, as we go forward, if you ever have any questions, feel free to drop me a line, and I'll give you a response as fast as I can. Okay? Talk to you soon. Now we're going to get to the conclusion.